Hi everyone, Will from Runchat here. In this video, we're going to look at how to generate multiple views of the same space. This is mostly for concept design. We're not constraining this to actual views of the space. For that, we can 3D model up the space and then render it. You can check out a different tutorial for that. In this case, we just have one image and we want to kind of see what it's like if we looked 30 degrees to the left or 30 degrees to the right. And there's a few different techniques for doing that, and we'll go through them now. So one way is to use a model called Marble, which generates 3D spaces from an image. You can optionally provide a prompt there to generate it from text as well. We're just going to use an image. What Marble does is it creates something called a Gaussian splat. So here's one that I've prepared earlier. It's effectively a kind of blurry point cloud that is created from your space. It's really good at doing interiors. So here it's made this interior, and so we can kind of look around the space. Like I can look over here, for instance. So if you find a view that you like, we can click on capture screenshot, and then we can paste that screenshot back onto the canvas. Okay, my other marble over here is finished now as well. It's kind of generated the same thing, which is about what you'd expect, which is good. So I've got my screenshot, and you'll notice that this screenshot, it's pretty full of artifacts. So the next task is how do we clean this up so that it looks like a real photograph again? So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to copy our reference image. So just go up here and copy it. And then we double click our low res image and we're going to paste in the copy. And we can shrink that down, put it in the corner, and we'll even just annotate this so that we know, or the Gemini knows, that's our reference. Now that we've got one image here as well as a reference, just to show it kind of what the materiality of that space should be like, the prompt that we're going to use is we're just going to say restore the missing areas and artifacts in the image to produce a clean photograph and match the materials in the reference. So we can connect this up here using NanoBanana. Make sure you've got NanoBanana 3. Make sure you've got the same aspect ratio as your reference. And you can run that, and it tends to do a pretty good job of just cleaning up all of this kind of junk. And it can match what it sees in this reference here so that it knows, okay, like it's got a decent view of that oven. It knows that's an oven, etc., etc. So it's going to be able to clean that up for us. There we go. So it's not 100% perfect. Like, there's still some glitches on the bench, but it's done a better job than straight out of the Gaussian splats, and it's maintained that camera angle, which is the important thing. The other way to create new views of the same image or space here is to just skip the 3D step and try going straight from one image to another just using a prompt. Now, a good trick for doing this, again, we're going to use NanoBanana 3, is to prompt this model in particular to generate an intermediate image. This is an interesting kind of hack. So you can say, look, you're a professional photographer. You've taken this photograph of a kitchen. The client wants to see the rest of the space. Create a 360 panorama of the space, then show a view looking 30 degrees to the left. Now, this is kind of interesting because it then does it pretty much perfectly. Like that is a 30 degree to the left view. Whereas if we try doing this without all of that preamble, so we just say orbit the camera 30 degrees to the left and hit go. I mean, there is some randomness here. Maybe it'll work. But the couple of times that I tried this, we just ended up with the exact same image of the space. It didn't actually orbit it at all. So we can try with this prompt as well. We can say 30 degrees to the right and see if we get something different. So the nice thing about using Marble while these is running is you have a lot of control over exactly the view that you want of the space. It's also kind of interesting because it's going to invent a whole lot of other detail around the space. So it's kind of invented like another kitchen behind this. And maybe we end up liking this kitchen better than this one. Maybe we wanted to add more into the prompt to tell it like how to inform the rest of that space, etc. But we have a lot of control over the camera. Whereas with Gemini and prompting like this, we have less control. There you go. So we've asked it in this first image, we said just orbit the camera 30 degrees to the left, and we end up with exactly the same view. But if we say create a panorama first and then look to the right, then we actually get that looking to the right, which is better. In this case, it's kind of kept a bit of a panorama, but it seems to be more reliable. Gemini also seems better at not just creating another kitchen. It's kind of more aware of what the rest of the house might be. Okay, so that's a couple of different ways to create consistent views. Again, this is just for concept design and exploration from a reference image. If you already have an exact space that we need to kind of continue this aesthetic into, the way you do that is by rendering screenshots of a model of that space, and you can check out the other tutorials we have on rendering for that.